97.3. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue.
Oh, flex. Buckle up and join the best. Let Citi relieve your stress. So yes, let the music soothe your soul and keep it going just to refresh. Buckle and enjoy the ride from 2 to the half of the 5. Mondays to Fridays happening live. Where we gon' have a ball, you can text your guys. Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. Are you ready for the Traffic Avenue? Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. An applause for the Traffic Avenue.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, Traffic Avenue, oh yeah.
City 97.3. Accra. City 97.3. More variety.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City
News. It's 17:30 GMT. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Umaru Sanda Amadou, and tonight I'm here with
Hawa Idrisu Mustafa.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes.
The immediate and unconditional resignation or dismissal of Godfrey Dame for bringing the high office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice into disrepute and public opprobrium.
National Democratic Congress NDC demands the resignation or dismissal of Godfrey Yeboah-Dame, who is Attorney General, after publishing a secret recording of him and an accused person he is prosecuting in a conversation. We have excerpts of what happened at the NDC headquarters for you in a bit, plus reactions from the NPP headquarters. A press conference has been scheduled. We are told it will be starting anytime soon. We'll also be hearing from experts and analysts on what exactly has been happening today. Also, coming up, road contractors challenge government's claim of paying them 49 billion cedis, and they are demanding for evidence from the government. And later, the Electoral Commission holds a press conference to update Ghanaians on the processes leading to election 2024. We'll tell you when you can transfer your votes and when the special voting will be taking place. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
Ghana Plastic Manufacturers Association object implementation of 5% excise tax on locally manufactured plastic products.
That's in 50 minutes from the Citi Business Desk. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a host of affiliate stations, including in the Upper West region on Tungsung 97.3 FM in Wa and Jirapa 96.1 FM in Jirapa. We are in the Upper East region on Quality 88.7 FM in Garu. We are in the Northern region on Radio Bimbila 91.9 FM in Bimbila. We are in the Volta region on Revival 99.3 FM in Tajavu and VOV Radio 95.7 FM in Hohwe. In the Ashanti region, we are on Focus 94.3 FM in Kumasi and Orange 107.9 FM also in Kumasi. In the Bono region, we are on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani. In the Western region, we are in Takrady on Sky Power 93.5 FM and Beach 105.5 FM. In Takwa, we are on Adrinpa 100.7 FM. We are live on YouTube, that is CityTube. We are also on citynewsroom.com. And we are interactive. Join us on WhatsApp 0549 986 996. So it started from the courtroom last week. There was a prosecution ongoing, a cross-examination happening, and then there was an outburst in court by Richard Jakpa. He's the third accused person in that ambulance case, which also has former Deputy Finance Minister and leader of the minority in Parliament, Ato Forsen, as persons who are being prosecuted. He accused the Attorney General of holding secret meetings and having private conversations with him, which conversations were intended to convince him or coerce him to testify against Ato Forsen so he could be jailed. The NDC picked that up and said that it had further evidence to corroborate the claim that was made in court. It advertised today for the press conference that it would shed a light on details that it has obtained, secret recordings that it said it had as a party. Today, the national chairman of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, called pressmen to the Adabraka headquarters of the party, and amongst a number of things, he released this audio recording, which is an alleged recording of a conversation between Godfred Yeboah-Dame, the Attorney General, and Richard Jakpa. Let's listen.
You know your problem anyway.
Right, that if you may have patience for me to explain to you. You are getting it wrong there because when you establish LC, the LC had conditions precedents for it to be honored. And the condition precedent says that you can only cash the LC when you present shipping documents, which is bill of lading, to the Ghana International Bank of the buyer before the LC can be honored. So even though the LC was established upon the signing of the contract, was supposed to be established upon the signing of the contract, it cannot be cashed or honored. It becomes a form of security for the supplier to invest his own money. And when he ships the ambulances, he can then send a bill of lading to your bankers to then honor the LC, because that is a condition precedent.
In any case, in this case, even the LC was actually cashed. Everything. That payment was actually made before the goods were shipped.
No.
The goods got to Ghana.
No.
Oh, yeah.
He couldn't have the supply. There is no way under the sun he could have cashed the LC before the shipping document, which were condition precedent, was presented to Ghana International Bank. Even when he presented the document to Ghana International Bank refused to honor the LC, raising issues of discrepancy, which came back to Bank of Ghana, which later went to the Ministry of Health, and then Animana authorized Bank of Ghana through Ministry of Finance to pay because they had sorted out the discrepancies with Big C. That time, around this time, or the ambulances had already arrived in Ghana. You are not privy to this one, I'm telling you.
In my view, if we agree to this theory, it's so simple. The theory of the case.
Not agree to the way you want to go. The way you want to go about it.
If you agree to this deal, where the witness agrees with Godfred Odame the way he wants to go about the case, then the witness, will have no case. There will be no difficulty for him. So listen to that part very well.
Try not to say it because I want to help the AG make his case. And I ask myself, what is my interest in it?
I'm not asking you to really help me. I'm just going by the talk anyway. So that's fine. So this one was even just by the way.
I hope you get my difficulty. It's because I'm innocent and I'm going through ordeal.
So that's a conversation that was played today by NDC Chairman Johnson Asiedu Nketia at the NDC headquarters, in which conversation it is alleged that the Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame was coercing a witness, Richard Jakpa, to testify against Ato Forsen. We'll bring you more on this, but let's go to the NPP headquarters, where Frank Davis, who is chairman of the Legal Affairs Committee of the NPP, is addressing the press on this very matter.
Responsible and no better. It leaves very much to be desired. We owe it to ourselves and posterity to rescue our dear country from this dark canker by those who have made it their stock in trade to spew vitriol and unapologetically take shots at a system they have little or no faith in at all. We have called you here because the NDC have since last week set in motion a malicious scheme fueled by lies, falsehoods, misrepresentations, blackmail, and needless pollution of the mass media, with the sole intention of obstructing the course of justice and scandalizing the criminal proceedings in the High Court, all in the bid to shield Atuforsen MP, minority leader in Parliament, and former Deputy Minister of Finance, and his associates from taking responsibility for authorizing some payments which resulted in a whopping sum of 3.27 million euros lost by the state, monies that belong to us all as Ghanaians. Ladies and gentlemen, you ask, how did we get here? On 22nd December 2011, Cabinet endorsed an executive approval of a joint memorandum submitted to Cabinet by the then Minister for Health and first accused person, Kesela Atuforsen, then Deputy Minister for Finance, for the purchase of 200 ambulances out of a medium-term credit facility of 15,800,000 euros between Standard Bank Ghana Limited and the Government of Ghana through the Ministry of Finance. On 1st December 2012, the Parliament of Ghana granted approval for the financing agreement between Standard Bank Ghana Limited and the Government of Ghana for the purchase of the 200 ambulances. By an agreement dated 19 December 2012, the Government of Ghana contracted a company in Dubai known as Big C General Trading LLC. In the course, we just refer to them as Big C, whose local agent is the third accused person, Richard Jakpa. And the company was to supply the ambulances to the government, even though that company was unknown to the cabinet and parliamentary approvals regarding the transaction. By the terms of the agreement, advance payment for the contract was prohibited. Payment for the vehicles was stated in the agreement to be through letters of credit established for 25% of the contract price upon the delivery of every 50 ambulance vehicles. On 7th August 2014, in blatant disregard of the financing arrangement for the transaction approved by both Cabinet and the Parliament of Ghana, first accused, Kesela Atuforsen, authorized the Bank of Ghana to urgently establish the letters of credit for the supply of 15 ambulances amounting to 3,950,000 euros, representing 25% of the contract sum. At this time, it is instructive to state that not a single ambulance had been delivered. On 12 August 2014, first accused also directed the Controller and Accountant General to pay the sums of 806,688 Ghana cedis 75 pesos, representing bank charges covering the establishment of letters of credit for the supply of 50 ambulances, and further directed for the amount to be charged against the capital expenditure vote for the Ministry of Health. Ladies and gentlemen, all these directives by first accused, Kesela Atuforsen, were contrary to the agreement for the supply of the ambulances, as well as the parliamentary approval regarding the financing of the transaction. It is also important to note that Atuforsen's authorization of payments for the transaction was without any request from the Ministry of Health. In fact, the Ministry of Health had specifically asked Big C to stop producing the ambulances as there was no valid contract regarding the transaction. In spite of all that, Atuforsen, without cause and for reasons best known to himself, proceeded to authorize payment for the ambulances. Pursuant to the unlawful directives of first accused, Atuforsen, Big C shipped 30 vehicles in 3 consignments between October 2014 and February 2015, which were fundamentally defective and lacking in the basic requirements for an ambulance. In short, they were not fit for purpose. This was confirmed by a letter written by the then Minister for Health, Dr. Alex Sebefia, and other assessments by the National Ambulance Service. In point of fact, Alesegbefia, in the letter to Big C, described the ambulances as ordinary vans, to wit, trotro. Interestingly, this same himself, Alesegbefia, was sitting with them in that press conference. These vehicles were never used and could not be used as ambulances during the whole tenure of the John Mahama administration. Following the change in government in 2017, investigations commenced and statements were taken from several people, including the incumbent Speaker of Parliament, Kingsford Bagbin, Mr. Kweku Ajiman Mensah, Madam Sherry Aite Disease, and Dr. Alesegbefia, all of whom were former health ministers, as well as first accused Kesela Tuforsen and other persons, including the third accused person, Richard Jakpa. Out of these many people, the Attorney General, convinced that the willful act of Kesela Tuforsen had resulted in a financial loss of €2,370,000 to the state, charged him before the High Court, together with Sylvester Animana, the former Chief Director of the Ministry of Health, and Richard Jakpa, a businessman, for causing financial loss, abetment to causing financial loss, and misapplying public property. The proceedings before the High Court. Ladies and gentlemen, proceedings in this matter have run its full course since commencement in December 2021. The prosecution, led by the able Attorney General, called 5 witnesses in proof of its case. Lawyers for first accused, in an attempt to truncate the proceedings, filed a submission of no case and urged the court to rule that Kesela Tuforsen had no case to answer, as no prima facie case had been made against him. This plea was outrightly rejected by the court, presided over by Justice Ifia Sewa Asaribotre, a justice of the Court of Appeal, sitting as an additional High Court judge. The court ruled, among others, that the Attorney General had led sufficient evidence to establish a case against Atuforsen and therefore ordered him to open his defense. Atuforsen subsequently opened his defense and also closed his case. Third accused, Richard Jakpa, also opened his case and was last Thursday being cross-examined when he made a scandalous, malicious, baseless, and spurious allegation that the Attorney General had approached him on several occasions to skew his testimony to implicate Atuforsen. Ladies and gentlemen, why would any credible person do such a thing? Indeed, if the Attorney General had any intention of having him skew the evidence in favor of Atuforsen, it would not just be just for the Attorney General to continue the prosecution of Atuforsen. But that is what the NDC wants us to believe. Ladies and gentlemen, it is no secret that the NDC ever since the commencement of Atuforsen's prosecution has threatened rain and storm against government, the Attorney General, and any person they can find to cajole the Attorney General from discontinuing the prosecution. Pressure has come from every angle, including former President Mahama, the leadership of the minority in Parliament, the clergy, business friends of Atuforsen, etc., etc. Indeed, former President Mahama specifically maintained the discontinuance of the ambulance trial as a condition to get members of the minority in Parliament to agree to the recent recall in Parliament, and has on several other occasions stated it as a condition precedent for the cooperation of the minority in Parliament. This pressure stems from some warped and baseless logic of the NDC that the Atuforsen's prosecution is politically motivated and its leader in Parliament should be immune from prosecution, even when the facts indicate conduct resulting in financial loss to the state. As mentioned earlier, investigations commenced as far back as 2017, making it imperative to ask at this stage, why is Atuforsen the only government official being prosecuted from all other former ministers from whom statements were taken. Your guess should equally be good as mine. Clearly, the prosecution is based on the various documentation available from the participating agencies in the transaction, and this is evidenced by the court's ruling upholding that the case has been made by the Attorney General that warrants an answer from the defense. It is also worth noting that the prosecution of Kesela Tuforsin commenced even before he became minority leader, making it worthless and nonsensical, the suggestion that he is being prosecuted because he is a minority leader in Parliament. This logic can only come from the NDC. Ladies and gentlemen, if at all, the only prosecution in this instance is the malicious and perennial dislike of the NDC towards the Attorney General since he assumed office, and the several attempts made by the NDC to stultify his work. The records are there clearly to show that right from his appointment as Attorney General, the NDC has spent one of the longest periods in our constitutional vetting system with the hope of impeaching his appointment, but the Attorney General remained resolute to their administration. You all watched the live telecast of his vetting in Parliament, and you saw what the NDC took him through. He survived the storm, and is still our competent Attorney General. Having failed in all these endeavors, the NDC filed a motion for censure to remove Godfrey Dame from office as Attorney General soon after his appointment, but this also failed. The NDC have since his appointment held over 12 press conferences against the person of the Attorney General. What at all do the NDC want from this young man? The youngest Attorney General the country has ever produced is working in the best interest of the nation. Yet, these people will not let him rest. The latest allegation by Richard Japa, the third accused and an associate of Kesela Tuforsin in this botched ambulance procurement transaction, is therefore only a further ploy contrived to curtail the prosecution of Tuforsin and smear the Attorney General's integrity and reputation. But this, I can assure you, will not work. We firmly believe that public officials, regardless of social standing, must be treated equally before the law, and they should be accountable for their use of public resources. Needless to say that the law is no respecter of persons. Ladies and gentlemen, the allegations by Richard Japa that the AG has on several occasions met him in private at odd hours and in person on phone to coax him to implicate the accused person is a complete variance with the prevailing facts. In fact, it is laughable. The attempt to selectively present facts without the whole is telling of the intentions of the third accused person. For the record, it is unacceptable that Johnson Asiedun Ketia will run a commentary over the alleged tape calculated to prevent Ghanaians and discerning people as such from making their own deductions and reasoned judgment. You saw him on radio behaving like a choir master. Again, even though from the screenshots displayed, the alleged conversation is supposed to last 26 minutes, the NDC schemed to play only 60 minutes. 16 out of 26. The question is, where is the rest of the tape? Even in respect of what was played, it is apparent that there are repetitions, overlaps, incoherence, voice-over, and distortions, demonstrating that the NDC has spent these past days distorting whatever tape they played. It is no wonder that even this afternoon, we are caught in the same trap anyway, even this afternoon, instead of commencing the press conference at 2, they had to wait till about 3 o'clock because they were still doctoring. We haven't doctored. We are presenting to you the facts as they are. Even on that doctored tape, the Attorney General never requested never requested a witness to falsify, fabricate, or concoct any evidence or testify in the prosecution's favor. You all heard the tape. Where did the Attorney General lure the third accused person to prefer evidence against the first accused? With the load of evidence before the court, how can the Attorney General manipulate the third accused person? Indeed, if the prosecution had not made any case against Atuforse, the judge would not call upon them to open their defense. Let us throw those accusations in the dustbin of worthless material. Again, on the question of who initiated the meeting, even from the NDC's presentation, it is clear that if any meeting at all was called, it was mooted and initiated at the instance of the third accused person. We would like to put it on record that as of February 2022, when Jakpa requested for a meeting with the AG never met him and never made any arrangement to the Supreme Court Justice, Emmanuel Yoni-Kulendi. It was not until the AG was invited to the residence of His Lordship Justice Emmanuel Yoni-Kulendi in 2023 that he surprisingly met Richard Jakpa at his residence. We remain resolute and very firm in our minds that the Attorney General has never approached the accused person for any conversation, let alone request him to skew his testimony against first accused Kesel Atuforse. The only meeting at which the Attorney General met the third accused person was in the residence of a Supreme Court judge, His Lordship Justice Emmanuel Yoni-Kulendi, who about six weeks ago requested to see the Attorney General. It is not out of place for the Attorney General to visit the said justice upon request, more so when the two were friends, even before the elevation of the latter to the Supreme Court. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, we are all lawyers, we are all trained lawyers. Standing here as a lawyer, if even a magistrate, a circuit court judge, should call me as a trained lawyer to visit him in the house to have a discussion, I will not, for any reason, say that I will not attend. But that meeting should not lead me to abuse my professional oath and pervert justice. Lawyers and judges drink from the same bowl. The judges are lawyers before they became judges. So if a judge invites me to his house, what is offensive? And this is what the NDC wants to make capital out of. They have lawyers in their midst. Would they tell me that their lawyers never visit judges? Again, the Attorney General, at the time of the invitation, was unaware that the third accused person was going to be present, and therefore his subsequent appearance in the House of the Justice was surprising. It is pertinent to note that prior to this meeting, the Attorney General had closed his case, and the court had thrown out the application of Atuforse for a submission of no case as being without merit. The third accused had also, by 4 different letters by his lawyers, requested and made proposals to the Attorney General for a plea bargain, which will see Big C, third accused principal, paid €2 million in exchange for the cessation of prosecution. This has been roundly rejected by the Attorney General. In fact, third accused, through his lawyers in the letter dated 16 May 2023, had indicated unequivocally that they were requesting a plea bargain, and following the rejection, I requested the AG for terms which the Attorney General will consider acceptable. The Supreme Court judge, Justice Emmanuel Yoni-Kulendi, therefore sought to inquire whether there was room for a plea bargain, and the AG highlighted that he was not opposed, provided it was made in proper form, and assured third accused that he had nothing personally against any of the accused persons. The Attorney General further requested that since the charges principally focus on the public officials through whose actions the laws was occasioned, Richard Jakpa should show fidelity to the transaction records which were already in evidence. Finally, there is also a record that first accused himself, Atuforse, had, in the company of a senior parliamentarian, visited the AG in his house to plead with him to end the prosecution. The NDC, in their press conference today, have conveniently failed, refused or neglected to respond to this fact, which was also contained in the response of the Ministry of Justice following the proceedings of Thursday? Why will Atuforse go to the Attorney General to beg for a discontinuance of his prosecution, and the same person will, through another medium, say that the Attorney General is persecuting him? You can make the inference yourself. You are the best judges. Ladies and gentlemen, if the Attorney General desired to cajole the third accused as suggested, then the best avenue will have been following the third accused person's request for the AG to propose terms acceptable to him, and the several WhatsApp messages sent to the AG pleading with him. Clearly, the third accused person is a hired mercenary contracted to exploit his relationship with the Supreme Court judge, knowing the AG's inability to disrespect the said justice when invited after failing to secure a meeting with the AG. All this is against the backdrop that since the Attorney General was appointed into office, he has been arguably one of the most successful, both in and out of court. As remarkably noted by the President at the last State of the Nation's address, he has successfully saved the state over 10 trillion Ghanaian cedis, and his verve in protecting public resources is shown by his commitment to the prosecution of public officials whose acts have resulted in huge financial loss to the state. This is beside the other several infrastructure and logistical improvements to the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice, including the almost completed Law House. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it is the firm belief of the NDC and Atuforse, if it is the firm belief of the NDC and Atuforse that no loss had occasioned the state from its conduct, then they should just remain faithful to our judicial system and seize these malicious orchestrations targeted at bastardizing our judicial system and to prevent him from standing trial to its final conclusion. They should just keep quiet and let the proceedings in court continue. We are very clear in our minds that the cause for the resignation of the Attorney General is misplaced, unwarranted, and this will not put any spokes in the prosecution of Kesel Atuforse and his associates. Ladies and gentlemen, the call for the resignation of the Attorney General coming from the NDC is very, very rich. The NDC calling on the Attorney General to resign from office. That is rich Ghanaians. The AG will not resign. He will continue to remain witty, resolute, and focused in the delivery of his work, as he does always. The wheels of justice, we say, grind slowly, but eventually it will grind to a halt. Thank you once again for coming to listen to us on such short notice. God bless our homeland, Ghana, and make her great and strong. Thank you.
Thank you. So that's Frank Davis. He's chairperson of the legal committee of the New Patriotic Party, responding to an earlier press conference done by the NDC, addressed by Wadami and Richard Jakpa, who is an accused person in that ambulance case. Let's listen to the tail end of that.
I'm going to go through ordeal and through me, because I know the truth and I decide not to say it. Question sentence. If I go by that way, frankly speaking, I'll be dishonest, because I know that is not how it's supposed to be about it and how you want me to go about my answering question sentence. That time, around this time, or the ambulances had already arrived in Ghana. You were not privy to this one, I'm telling you.
In my view, if we agree to this theory, it's so simple, the theory of the case.
Not agree to the way you want to go, the way you want to go about it.
No, you let's agree. You let's describe it that way. You let's describe it that way. The way I want to go about it.
Okay,
you agree to it this way. It makes it simple.
Yes, it will make it.
It doesn't also involve. It doesn't involve any difficulty for you.
Yes, I agree. I understand your point.
When you say there's no advancement, yes. When you say there's no advancement, ordinarily meaning in Ghana that you don't pay until you get your goods. Now, the contract here, even the clear terms, unless maybe you guys did not draft the contract, we started upon the signing of the contract for every future.
No, it was the contract was drafted by government. It was done by government.
Oh, yes,
And it was an AG department perused the contract and approved the contract for government.
It is not a problem. We had the approval. Every contract is actually approved before later when they implement it and programs.
You see, what the difficulty I have with your position is that, you see, frankly speaking, fine, as you are saying, if I agree to your position, how you want to go about it and how you want me to go about my answering questions and things, if I go by that way, frankly speaking, I'll be dishonest because I know that is not how it's supposed to be.
So that's supposed to be the voice of Richard Jakpa. He is one of the accused persons in the ambulance case, and the other voice on the telephone is supposed to be that of Godfred Yeboah-Dame, the Attorney General. The two of them were having a conversation about the trial. At least that's what the NDC has put out there today. Now, the MPP called a press conference a short while ago. You heard Frank Davis saying that the voice is actually supposed to be 26 minutes. The NDC played a 60-minute, 5-second audio recording. The MPP's Frank Davis is saying the audio is supposed to be 26 minutes and that the voice that has been played has been tampered with. The NDC makes the position or the point that actually the tampering, if there was any, is an attempt by Godfred Dame to tamper with evidence that is being put before court. Johnson Asiru Nketia is the chairman of the National Democratic Congress. He summarized the position of the NDC thus.
Godfred Dame violently violated the legal professional code of ethics rule 2020 LI 2423 in many ways. I'm not a lawyer, but this was passed in Parliament. Misconduct on the part of no less a person than the Attorney General, who was the leader of the bar, bears a high responsibility to adhere to the rules of ethics of the legal profession, is reprehensible and totally unpardonable. The next one has to do with the fabrication of evidence to pervert the course of justice. Minister of Justice fabricating evidence to pervert the course. It is instructive to note that in the audio recording, Godfred Dame is heard persuading Mr. Jakpa not to end his testimony by a particular time to allow him to travel, Godfred Dame, to travel. The dishonorable Attorney General is also heard persuading Mr. Jakpa to procure and submit a fake medical excuse duty to the court, which he was scheduled to testify before that morning. Attorney General and Minister of Justice. This was to enable Godfred Dame travel abroad without missing Jakpa's testimony. Attorney General, you are asking somebody who is before court for what you claim to be one crime to go and commit another one, to come and deceive the court. By asking a witness to fabricate evidence to deceive a court, Godfred Dame, the Attorney General, sought to undermine the judicial and justice administration process in this country. This conduct of Godfred Dame constitutes the offense of perjury, which is a crime punishable under the laws of Ghana, specifically section 213 and 214 of the Criminal and Other Offences Act 1960, Act 29.
Considering the scandalous nature of this recording and other forms of evidence we have shown you, we wish to make the following pressing demands as part of efforts to restore credibility to the Attorney General's office and Ghana's judicial system as a whole. 1. The immediate and unconditional resignation or dismissal of Godfred Dame for bringing the high office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice into disrepute and public opprobrium. Clearly, Mr. Dame is not fit to hold himself out as Attorney General and Minister of Justice. He is unfit to be the leader of the Ghana Bar. 2, the immediate prosecution of Godfrey Dame for multiple violations of the laws of Ghana. We wish to make it clear that should President Akufo-Addo refuse or fail to prosecute him, a future NDC government will prosecute Godfrey Dame.
So that's Johnson Asiedu Nketia. He's national chairman of the National Democratic Congress. So you've heard there the audio that has been put out. Indeed, the MPP, when he did the press conference, did not deny that there was a conversation between Godfrey Dame and Richard Jakpa. So the presumption would be that that audio that Johnson Asiedu Nketia played to Ghanaians is credible to the extent that it has not been doctored. Now, the key issues that are coming out from that audio, what should be the relationship between an attorney general who is the government's lead prosecutor and someone that the person is prosecuting? So the attorney general represents the state that brings the action against you. That's why they say republic versus you. Now, what should be the relationship between the you in the republic versus you and the republic, which is represented by the attorney general? Should it be a conversation that should be had in court or outside court with your lawyer and so on? Let's speak to someone who was once a deputy attorney general who was in the business of prosecuting for and on behalf of the state, both civil and criminal cases. Dr. Dominic Ayine is Member of Parliament and former Deputy AG. He's joined us on the line. Doc, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much, Umaru.
So what should be the relationship between an attorney general, and let's just use prosecutor in this case because the attorney general is a prosecutor in this case, and a person who is standing trial? Should there not be any conversation between the two of them whatsoever? Is that what the NDC is saying? And is that what happens in practice? You have been in the courtrooms.
Well, okay. So as a matter of law and the ethics of the legal profession, the Attorney General as the prosecutor is not, it's not by law permitted, okay, to speak to an accused person without the presence of the lawyer of the accused person. And then this is, in the context of a criminal prosecution, we must understand that the accused person is very vulnerable because the liberty of the accused person is at stake. In some cases, it is the life of the accused person that is at stake. And so, for an attorney general who is vested with prosecutorial powers, to speak to an accused person in respect of matters pending, that affect the liberty potentially of the accused person, is unethical and it is also illegal. So, for instance, if you look at our legal profession rules that have been cited severally by, the National Communications Officer of the NDC, Sami JP, Rule 56 is very, very clear. 56.2 is to the, 56 rule, sub-rule 2D is to the effect that the prosecutor has a duty not to confer with an accused person or interview the accused person. Now, I had the occasion, to listen to the entire tape that was played during the NDC conference that was addressed by the national chairman. And in that tape, it was very, very clear that the Honorable Attorney General, the Attorney General, was actually conferring and in some instances actually interviewing the accused person. That is illegal. That is unethical. And as the Honorable National Chairman of the NDC has said, he has brought the Office of the Attorney General into disrepute. But Umaru, there are a number of dimensions of this, matter that have not been touched upon in the public discourse. One is the fact that the power to prosecute is discretionary. And in any situation where discretionary power has been vested either under the Constitution or by statute or any rule in any person or authority, that discretionary power is subject to the principles in Article 296 of the Constitution. All right. So you cannot exercise the power in a capricious manner or in a manner that is biased by resentment or personal dislike. When I listen to the tape, the tape tells me is that it is providing ex post facto evidence of the Attorney General's personal dislike for the honorable minority leader. Because basically what he was, doing in that case was trying to drive an accused person who is himself a witness, and that is the point about the vulnerability of the accused person, because the man is taking the stand and the oath in defense of himself and seeking to extricate himself, from being sent to jail. All right, and you are now pushing him to give evidence against another accused person, so that that accused person will go to jail. Because of the vulnerability of this person, what you are basically doing is taking advantage of him being opportunistic, so that at the end of the day, it is not the evidence that you have adduced in court, okay, that proves the guilt of the minority leader beyond reasonable doubt, but it will be that you are either falsifying or fabricating or seeking to push an accused person to lie in court so that the minority leader goes to jail. And that is a violation, of Article 296 of the Constitution. So the first duty, of a prosecutor, all right, and the Attorney General is the chief prosecutor of the Republic. The first duty, okay, is to protect the innocent and convict the guilty. That is what you are supposed to do. You protect the innocent and convict the guilty.
So,
but in this case,
if that conversation is to be believed, can he not get further and better particulars to guide him in this prosecution? Is that wrong? To try and get information from him?
No, he cannot obtain that information from an accused person, from a defendant in a criminal trial. He cannot get that information from a defendant.
But is he barred from having conversations with him at all? Can the AG be making phone calls to?
He is totally barred from having conversations unless the conversations are in the presence of the lawyer of the accused person.
What if the accused person didn't have a lawyer at that time?
That is a fantastic question. So if the accused person is unrepresented or does not have a lawyer at the time that the prosecution is seeking to communicate with him, then it must be done in the presence of the judge. That is the practice and convention that we are all used to. And I can assure you that when we were in the AG's department, neither myself or the Honorable, Marietta, Brew, okay, would have taken this step, to talk to an accused person, without their lawyer or not in the presence of the judge.
Now that you've mentioned the presence of a judge, it has to be the judge in the case being tried, not any judge like we are hearing now, where there's a judge of the Supreme Court, we are told, whose residence hosted this meeting.
I'm talking about the judge, okay, in this matter, because you see, Umaru, if there are orders that have been made by the judge, and the Attorney General thinks that those orders must be complied with in a certain way, and the accused person is not, represented by a lawyer, the only way by which that accused person can, understand why the Attorney General is seeking, to have those orders complied with in a certain way, is for him to appear before the judge, either in chambers or in open court, for directions to be given, and then for the accused person to also make his input in the presence of the judge, for the judge either to vary those orders or to say that she's taken by the orders that were originally made. I'm just giving an example of a situation where, the Attorney General ought to bring the matter before the judge so that the accused person is protected, from being taken advantage of.
Now that the NDC has promised to prosecute Godfrey Dame, what would be the basis for possible prosecution in relation to this audio? Because the MPP has said to us that there's nothing in there, it's just an empty tape. What would be the basis? So the charge would be for conferring with a person who is accused. What possible charges can be brought against Godfrey Dame, and why must he be fired by the president? Why must he?
Well, I would not want to. I would not want to comment on possible charges. because, I wouldn't want in any manner to prejudice anything that will be done in the future. However, it was mentioned at the press conference, that there's a possible criminal breach of, the sections of the Criminal and Other Offences Act for dealing with the falsification of evidence, the fabrication of evidence. Specifically, I think it's, sections 213 and 214. And I think that the tip, this is my initial opinion, the tip provides potential basis for further investigations, in order to bring a prosecution under those particular sections.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, sir.
Thank you.
That's Dr. Dominic Ayine. He's a former Deputy Attorney General and Member of Parliament. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. We are also alive around the globe on citynewsroom.com. We take a break. When we come back, there are other legs to this particular story because today in court, the judge was not happy with a press conference that Sami Jemfi, the National Communications Officer of the NDC, did last week, which bordered on this particular case. We'll tell you what transpired in court and other legs to this particular conversation. Please stay.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
KB, aka Kubeboga, now drives a Bugatti. He can even travel by road from Accra to London. Oh, wow. KB's source of wealth is agriculture. Yes, coconut business. After losing his bank job, he started supplying coconuts at events. Now, he owns large coconut plantations and employs many young people. Charlie, we all need to trust the process, because hope days.
There has never been a better time to enter into agribusiness. Take a bold step today with the Ghana Grows program because every step pays. Ejuma Wokrom, Ghana Grows, Hope Day, an initiative of the MasterCard Foundation in partnership with Springboard Roadshow Foundation and Limehouse.
Choboy! Yeah. We have a new leader in town. Obiarenti. Amafo. Madam was Sibebre. When him say my baby, maybe more charcoal for whiter teeth. More charcoal. Not only that, maybe lemon. More lemon. Zinc for fresher breath. More zinc. And fluoride for stronger teeth.
Introducing the new President Charcoal Pack with more power with a combination of charcoal and lemon for naturally whiter teeth. Grab yours now. This advert is FDA approved.
You know your papa see that? And it's Rickety car. Hey, Papa! Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panzapa. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman. Hey, Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Ghana must grow. KB, aka Kubeboga, now drives a Bugatti. He can even travel by road from Accra to London. Oh, wow. KB's source of wealth is agriculture. Yes, coconut business. After losing his bank job, he started supplying coconuts at events. Now, he owns large coconut plantations and employs many young people. boss. Charlie, we all need to trust the process, cause hope day.
There has never been a better time to enter into agribusiness. Take a bold step today with the Ghana Grows program because every step pays. Ejuma Wokrom, Ghana Grows, Hope Day, an initiative of the MasterCard Foundation in partnership with Springboard Roadshow Foundation and Limehouse.
In a world where only the best survives, you need a fuel that can match your drive. A fuel with unparalleled protection for your engine, superior efficiency, and unrivaled performance. A fuel so unbeatable, when you get behind the wheel, you'll focus on what really matters. The journey ahead. That fuel is Shell V-Power, because no other fuel gives your engine better protection, better efficiency, and better performance. Be unbeatable. Drive unbeatable. Shell V-Power. Shell, go well.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You're welcome back. The Association of Road Contractors is demanding details on the contractors said to have benefited from the 49 billion cedis said to have been paid by the Finance Ministry. At a press briefing on Friday, May 4, 2024, Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam announced that the government had spent some 49 billion cedis on contractors. However, the road contractors contend that the government owes them close to 15 billion cedis and denied any knowledge of receiving such funds. Chairman of the Road Contractors Association of Ghana, John Afful, is however demanding answers on their location and the actual beneficiaries.
Government owes us a lot of money. When you come to the road fund management board, there's as much as 6.2 billion owed at the end of March. And when you go to Cocoa Board, over 5 billion being owed road contractors. When you get to the Ministry of Finance, a huge sum of about 6.7 billion also owed. When you add up, it is well over 16 billion owed local contractors on road works that we have done. Yeah, local road contractors. And it ranges from 2016 to now. There are some certificates as far back as 2016 that have not been earned, that have not been paid. So disheartening. We are in pain. Nobody is helping us. We are surprised the Minister of Finance has come out talking about 49 billion paid to contractors. Who are the contractors, my sister? Who are the contractors who have been taking those huge sums of money? And 49 billion, as against what the OS of over 16 billion, it means they have cleared all our arrears. But as I sit here as the national chairman, I don't even have a peso paid into my account. So where lies the truth about that?
Chairman of the Road Contractors Association of Ghana, John Afful.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. City Business News. Be informed.
Time now for City Business News on Eyewitness News, brought to you by GCB Bank PLC. GCB Personal Loan, make that big move and dream a reality. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Details of our stories now. The business community, led by the Ghana Plastic Manufacturers Association, has kicked against the implementation of a 5% excise tax on locally manufactured plastic products. According to them, the excise tax, which was effected in January 2024, was done without prior consultation. Addressing the press in Accra, President of the Ghana Plastic Manufacturers Association, Ebo Boche, said the tax, if not suspended, will adversely affect the business community and compound the living conditions of the everyday consumer.
After deeper analysis and a wider consultation with our partners, the National Association of Sachet and Packaged Water Producers, the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Association of Ghana Industries, and Food and Beverage Association of Ghana, we wish to state the following. 1. That the implementation of the 5% excise tax on ex-factory price of all locally manufactured plastic products and packaging be suspended immediately and indefinitely. I take it again. That the implementation of the 5% excise tax on ex-factory price of all locally manufactured plastic products and packaging be suspended immediately and indefinitely. 2. That a better, deeper, and a broad-based stakeholder consultation is done on any idea of excise tax on locally manufactured plastic products.
Ebo Boche is the president of the Ghana Plastic Manufacturers Association. Now, president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Dr. Joseph Obin, also bemoaned how unfavorable the business community in the country has become, especially on the back of the continuous volatility of the local currency.
The effects of the exchange rate is having a great toll on businesses. We haven't even solved it. We haven't even been able to stabilize it. And all that we seek to do, even with our arrangement with the IMF, is to stabilize the economy so that businesses can thrive. So we call for suspension of this intended implementation of the 5% excise tax on this productive sector. We want to industrialize, that's what we say. We want to do import substitution, that's what we say the policy is, that we want to stop excessive importation that we do. And yet, we are crippling the packaging and plastic industry, which forms the basis of industrialization. I hope you all know that. Before somebody can make a package, maybe plantain chips, the fufu, powdered fufu, and then the oil, the pharmaceuticals, and all that.
Dr. Joseph Obin is president of GUTA. Now, ECG's full compliance with the cash waterfall mechanism for the first time since it was revised in August 2023 has been welcomed as a positive step towards addressing Ghana's power sector challenges and improving the reliability of electricity supply for consumers. According to the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, ECG generated over 1 billion cedis in revenue for March 2024, with 620 million cedis disbursed to 7 IPPs and WAPCO, representing 62% of the total month revenue. Speaking to Citi Business News energy analyst Dr. Yusuf Suleiman urged the PULC to closely monitor compliance with the cash waterfall mechanism to prevent potential disruptions that could adversely affect end users.
Within the sector are so crucial, and for that matter, if monies that are due them are not equitably distributed, and we give some and we leave others, I think it's going to result into disruption in a smooth power supply to the end user. So I think it's great, and we just hope the PRC will closely monitor the conformance to this great principle, the basic principle of adhering to this cash waterfall mechanism. And this is an extension to one of the problems that are confronting the energy sector. If you notice, quite recently when PIAC released the report, you notice similar breaches where money that were supposed to be lodged into certain accounts were not done. If these things are not done, what will happen cumulatively will lead to certain cracks and weaknesses within the value chain, be it the power sector or the petroleum sector. So it's in the nation's best interest to do our best, however difficult it is.
Energy analyst Dr. Yusuf Sulemana. Now, the government is upbeat of an optimistic outlook on harnessing the full benefit of emerging technologies to drive its growth agenda and sustain the path of economic recovery. It is projected that the country could potentially generate over $50 billion from emerging technologies, particularly artificial intelligence, if properly regulated. Speaking at the 8th CEO Summit in Accra, the Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Abna Osei-Asai, reaffirmed the crucial role of the digital economy in spurring economic growth.
We're looking at the real and diversified growth in the economy. The ministry has been busy in implementing the growth pillar in the PCPEG as expressed in the 2024 budget. Our ability to exceed the program and revised growth rates of last year lends credence to our new approach at building resilient growth. This year, we have focused on expanding investments in the real sector to chart a new course here. About $3 billion is being invested in agriculture, agribusiness, trade and industry, textiles and garments, tourism, aquaculture, innovation, digitalization, and technology. And I believe we will take advantage of the AI space and tap into the $50 billion that we envisage should be what should come to Ghana if we come together and regulate the AI space and also tap into the benefits that is in there for us. And that is how we are seeking to diversify our economy.
That was the Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Abna Osei-Asai. And that's it for City Business News on Eyewitness News. The business news on Eyewitness News is brought to you by GCB Bank PLC. GCB Personal Loan, make that big move and dream a reality. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Up next is Point Blank.
Are you feeling tired after a hard day's work? Have you lost your appetite even for your favorite dish? Viral Blood Tonic is a nutritionally balanced, pleasant-tasting tonic fortified with iron and vitamins to boost your appetite and energy levels for high performance. Viral Blood Tonic, easy to take and good for the whole family. Viral from Danex Iting Starwin PLC. If symptoms persist after 48 hours, consult a physician. This advert is FDA approved.
KB, yo. Hey, KB, aka Kubeboga, now drives a Bugatti. He can even travel by road from Accra to London. Oh, wow. KB's source of wealth is agriculture. Yes, coconut business. After losing his bank job, he started supplying coconuts at events. Now, he owns large coconut plantations and employs many young people. Charlie, we all need to trust the process, because hope days.
There has never been a better time to enter into agribusiness. Take a bold step today with the Ghana Grows program, because every step pays. Ejuma Wokrom, Ghana Grows, Hope Day, an initiative of the MasterCard Foundation in partnership with Springboard Roadshow Foundation and Limehouse.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that. Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation Movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Are you a contractor, builder, or a proud homeowner with an eye for quality and security? Well, look no further than Yale. Yale is the trusted name in security for over 180 years. When it comes to securing your home or business, trust Yale. We make security simple, and we're right here in the heart of Accra, Ghana. Visit our stunning showroom on 11th Lane Street in Osu, Accra, and discover a world of premium Yale products, including door hardware, handles, and door locks that will elevate the security and style of your space. Whether you're building from scratch or renovating, Yale has the perfect solution for you. Our products are known for their durability, innovation, and most importantly, your peace of mind. Visit us today and experience the Yale difference. Your security, our priority. Yale, locking in your peace of mind.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Violated the legal professional code of ethics rule 2020 LI 2423 in many ways. I'm not a lawyer, but this was passed in parliament. Misconduct on the part of no less a person than the Attorney General, who was the leader of the bar, bears a high responsibility to adhere to the rules of ethics of the legal profession, is reprehensible and totally unpardonable. The next one has to do with the fabrication of evidence to pervert the course of justice. Minister of Justice fabricating evidence to pervert the course. It is instructive to note that in the audio recording, Godfrey Dame is heard persuading Mr. Japa not to end his testimony by a particular time to allow him to travel, Godfrey Dame, to travel. The dishonorable Attorney General is also heard persuading Mr. Japa to procure and submit a fake medical excuse duty to the court, which he was scheduled to testify before that morning. Attorney General and Minister of Justice. This was to enable Godfrey Dame travel abroad without missing Japa's testimony. Attorney General, you are asking somebody who is before court for what you claim to be one crime to go and commit another one, to come and deceive the court. By asking a witness to fabricate evidence to deceive a court, Godfrey Dame, the Attorney General, sought to undermine the judicial and justice administration process in this country. This conduct of Godfrey Dame constitutes the offense of perjury, which is a crime punishable under the laws of Ghana, specifically section 213 and 214 of the Criminal and Other Offences Act 1960, Act 29. Considering the scandalous nature of this recording and other forms of evidence we have shown you, we wish to make the following pressing demands as part of efforts to restore credibility to the Attorney General's office and Ghana's judicial system as a whole. 1. The immediate and unconditional resignation or dismissal of Godfrey Dame for bringing the high office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice into disrepute and public opprobrium. Clearly, Mr. Dame is not fit to hold himself out as Attorney General and Minister of Justice. He is unfit to be the leader of the Ghana Bar. 2. the immediate prosecution of Godfrey Dame for multiple violations of the laws of Ghana. We wish to make it clear that should President Akufo-Addo refuse or fail to prosecute him, a future NDC government will prosecute Godfrey Dame for this heinous crime of fabrication of evidence. 3. Commencement of disciplinary proceedings by the General Legal Counsel against Godfrey Dame and his disbarment for conduct unbecoming of a lawyer, and more importantly, the leader of the Ghana Bar. 4. A publicly televised parliamentary inquiry into this and other reports of judicial manipulations by Godfrey Dame with a view to censor Godfrey Dame to prevent the recurrence of such judicial manipulations. In conclusion, friends from the media, it is clear from the incontrovertible evidence we have adduced today that the government has no evidence of wrongdoing against the minority leader, but is only involved in fabrications to persecute him as retribution for his strong opposition to the economic mismanagement and general misrule of the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government. These damning revelations call into question the integrity of the case of the prosecution in the ongoing ambulance trial and the necessity for same. Godfrey Dame has brought shame and disrepute to the Honorable Office of the Attorney General with his criminal, devious, and vicious conduct. He is a danger to fairness and justice in our judicial system and represents the lowest point in the history of persons who have occupied the hallowed office of Attorney General and Minister of Justice. Many times, that Godfrey Dame epitomizes all that is inherently wrong, investing both the office of the Attorney General and the Minister of Justice in the same person. We believe that he has recklessly abused both offices, and his continuous stay in office is no longer tenable. The primary responsibility of the Attorney General is to be the voice of rule of law, ensure the impartial enforcement of law, and advise the President and government to take actions that conform to law. More importantly, an Attorney General must be a shining example and a leading light for the bar, not a criminal-minded, crooked, devious, and vicious person who is preoccupied with witch hunting and victimization, as has become the cup of tea of honorable or dishonorable Godfrey Dame. You can make your choice. Mr. Dame has demonstrated time without number that he cannot prioritize the national interest over his party's parochial and self-serving interests. He must therefore resign or be sacked by the president.
The words of Johnson Nasedu Nketia, also known as General Mosquito, chairman of the National Democratic Congress, at a press conference this afternoon on that audio recording that the party put out, which is supposed to be a conversation between Godfrey Dame, the Attorney General, and Richard Jakpa, the third accused person in that ambulance case. The NPP swiftly called a press conference. It was advertised for 4 p.m. It happened around 5:30 p.m. The party apologized for the delay, but it was addressed by Frank Davis, who is the chairman of the legal committee of the party. This is the response that he gave to that address by Johnson Nasedu Nketia.
The Attorney General, at the time of the invitation, was unaware that the third accused person was going to be present, and therefore his subsequent appearance in the House of the Justice was surprising. It is pertinent to note that prior to this meeting, the Attorney General had closed his case, and the court had thrown out the application of Atuforsen for a submission of no case as being without merit. The third accused had also, by 4 different letters by his lawyers, requested and made proposals to the Attorney General for a plea bargain, which will see Big C, third accused principal, paid €2 million in exchange for the cessation of prosecution. This has been roundly rejected by the Attorney General. In fact, third accused, through his lawyers in the letter dated 16 May 2023, had indicated unequivocally that they were requesting a plea bargain, and following the rejection, I requested the AG for terms which the Attorney General will consider acceptable. The Supreme Court Judge, Justice Emmanuel Yoni-Kolendi, therefore sought to inquire whether there was room for a plea bargain, and the AG highlighted that he was not opposed, provided it was made in proper form, and assured third accused that he had nothing personally against any of the accused persons. The Attorney General further requested that since the charges principally focus on the public officials through whose actions the laws of occasion, Richard Jakpa should show fidelity to the transaction records which were already in evidence. Finally, there is also a record that first accused himself, Atuforsen, had, in the company of a senior parliamentarian, visited the AG in his house to plead with him to end the prosecution. The NDC, in their press conference today, have conveniently failed, refused or neglected to respond to this fact, which was also contained in the response of the Ministry of Justice following the proceedings of Thursday. Why will Atuforsen go to the Attorney General to beg for a discontinuance of his prosecution, and the same person will, through another medium, say that the Attorney General is persecuting him? You can make the inference yourself. You are the best judges. Ladies and gentlemen, if the Attorney General desired to cajole the third accused as suggested, then the best avenue will have been following the third accused person's request for the AG to propose terms acceptable to him, and the several WhatsApp messages sent to the AG pleading with him. Clearly, the third accused person is a hired mercenary, contracted to exploit his relationship with the Supreme Court judge, knowing the AG's inability to respect the said justice when invited after failing to secure a meeting with the AG. All this is against the backdrop that since the Attorney General was appointed into office, he has been, arguably, one of the most successful, both in and out of court. As remarkably noted by the President at the last State of the Nation's address, he has successfully saved the state over 10 trillion Ghanaian cedis, and his verve in protecting public resources is shown by his commitment to the prosecution of public officials whose acts have resulted in huge financial loss to the state. This is beside the other several infrastructure and logistical improvements to the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice, including the almost completed Law House. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it is the firm belief of the NDC and Atuforsen, if it is the firm belief of the NDC and Atuforsen that no loss had occasioned the state from its conduct, then they should just remain faithful to our judicial system and seize these malicious orchestrations targeted at bastardizing our judicial system and to prevent him from standing trial to its final conclusion. They should just keep quiet and let the proceedings in court continue. We are very clear in our minds that the cause for the resignation of the Attorney General is misplaced, unwarranted, and this will not put any spokes in the prosecution of Kesel Atuforsen and his associates. Ladies and gentlemen, the call for the resignation of the Attorney General coming from the NDC is very, very rich. The NDC calling on the Attorney General to resign from office. That is rich Ghanaians. The AG will not resign. He will continue to remain witty, resolute, and focused in the delivery of his work, as he does always. The wheels of justice, we say, grind slowly, but eventually it will grind to a halt.
So that's lawyer Frank Davis, he's chairman of the legal committee of the New Patriotic Party, responding to an earlier demand made by the NDC through its national chairman, Johnson Asido Nketia. The conversation has to do with the trial involving case Latu Forcing and Richard Jakpa, which has led to some controversy since it emerged that Richard Jakpa had said he had recordings. The NDC actually said he had recordings of Richard Jakpa having a conversation with the Attorney General on a plan to hang Latu Forcing Drive. Also, you've heard the two sides. Let's move on to some other things. It's an election year, so the Electoral Commission called a press conference today to tell us how the preparations for the elections are going so far. When you can transfer your votes, when you can engage in special voting and all of the issues. If you lost your card, how you can get a new one. Let's listen to Jane Adikwe-Mensah. She is chairperson of the Electoral Commission.
The special voting exercise is a process that enables registered voters who are assigned specific duties on election day vote ahead of the main election day. Regulation 23(1) of CI 127 states that a voter may apply to the returning officer of the constituency in which the voter is registered to be entered as a special voter if, as a result of election duties, that voter will not be able to be present at the polling station where the voter registered on the day of the election. In Ghana, such category of voters is regulated and limited to officers of the Ghana Police Service, the Ghana Armed Forces, the Immigration, the Fire Service, Customs, and the Prison Service, as well as the polling officials of the Electoral Commission and permanent staff of the Electoral Commission, not forgetting our media partners who will carry out important functions on election day. The special voting will take place on Monday, the 2nd of December 2024, and it will be in all 276 constituency centers across the country. I'd like to mention again that the special voting will take place on Monday, the 2nd of December 2024, in all 276 constituency centers across the country. District police headquarters are mostly designated as special voting centers in each constituency. Where the number of voters allocated to a special voting center is higher than the threshold set by the Commission, and usually the threshold that has guided us is 750, and where the number of voters allocated to a special voting center is higher than the threshold set by the Commission, another center is designated as a special voting center to facilitate the voting process within the same center. And so we have a split within the same center if the number goes above the 750 threshold. Modalities for the 2024 special voting. To ensure a seamless application and voting process for all applicants of the special voting, the Commission has adopted the following measures. All applicants for special voting should apply directly to the returning officer of the constituency where the applicant is a registered voter. Members from institutions who desire to apply as a group may submit a list of their officers to the returning officers to serve as a register to facilitate the process. The list must contain the names of each applicant, the voter's ID card, the polling station code as it appears on the voter's ID card of each applicant. These particulars will enable the returning officer verify if the applicant is a registered voter in the constituency. Please note that all applicants must apply in person to the returning officer. Applicants who have misplaced their voters' ID cards should replace their cards during the exercise to replace the lost ID cards to enable them state the correct particulars for the application. It is important to emphasize that any person registering out of the group that we have mentioned, namely the Ghana Police Service, the Immigration Service, the Ghana Armed Forces, the Customs, the prisons, the media, should have a letter from the institution where they belong to back their application, unless there's a group. If it's a group and it comes as the list is emanating from the institution, of course, that list should be backed by a formal letter from that institution indicating that they indeed belong to that institution. This would prevent impersonation and prevent ordinary citizens who do not belong to this category from applying for special voting, and it will prevent them from applying to be put on the special voting register. Who qualifies to participate? In addition to the list of organizations mentioned earlier, an applicant must be a registered voter in the constituency where he or she wishes to vote.